Do you truly, in your heart of hearts, truly believe that this is a human being? This,
Without a doubt.
without a doubt,
Yes.
this is a dolphin fetus.
So let me.
Without a doubt, a dolphin fetus is a human being. This is a human fetus. This is how similar they are. But quite different. Dolphin. You just confirmed that a dolphin, in life, you confuse dolphins for human babies often.
So let me.
You
ask
go to
you a question.
SeaWorld and you're like, someone's got human babies in that aquarium.
Hello and good morning, my beauties and bees. It's good to see everybody out there in the live chat. Good morning, all. I am dragging today, this morning. My whole world's turned all wonky upside down. So days and nights and AMs and PMs kind of running together for me. So this is one thing keeping me grounded, though, is being able to come here and talk to you guys every week. So thank you for returning back to listen to me, I guess. Let me know if I sound all right and everything sounds loud enough. It's so good to see everybody. I have not had much sleep. I was up late hanging out with my friend Steph, and that was until like 3 or so. And I try to go to bed, but I have a terrible stomach ache, so I didn't sleep very good. Maybe 2 hours at the most altogether, not continuous at all. Not continuous at all. So it's been a rough night. So we'll see if I can get through the show today. It might be a shorter one. I don't know if I'll want to cut it short or not. Depends on how I'm feeling. But until then, I'm here with y'all, and we're gonna make this happen. I hope you all enjoyed the seals at the beginning. Those were something I was able to work on this week. Something cute and fun, something to put me in a positive frame of mind. So I took a couple of different seal videos and spliced them together like that. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You couldn't keep up right last night. Yeah, it was a party. We hung out afterwards too in the back room. Me and Steph and Who else was back there? The Satanist guy, Slew. Was that his name? Slew. Yeah, they hung out for a while, and it was a good time. But Ginny Morgan had her birthday today, so happy birthday, Ginny, if you're out there. Best wishes for your 69th birthday. Yeah, the seals were great. Is it Rang? It's behind the thing. I can't see it. Wrong. I knew the words. No, I love that song by Seal. I didn't. By the way, I didn't cut the audio together for that. I did cut some of the pictures and Seals over top of it because they did have spliced in pictures of Seal the singer, and I didn't want that. I wanted to have just the Seals, so I had to fix that. But I didn't cut the audio. Somebody else did. But I know all the words too. I remember that music video was out for Batman, right? Was it Batman Forever? Or Batman and Robin? I think it was Batman Forever. Kiss from a Rose. Yeah. Anyway, so Stephanie got her 200 subscribers, but I think we can probably get her maybe 220 by the end of the week if we work really hard on it. So if you're not subscribed to Stephanie Helms, go over there and do that right now. Somebody drop her link so we can get some. I doubt there's too many people in my community that aren't subscribed to Stephanie, but you never know. Sometimes you're like, oh man, I wasn't subscribed to this person and they're awesome, and it's like, oh, I didn't mean to not be subscribed to them. I just didn't didn't realize. So we'll go with that's what's happening here. And let me just say hi to everybody too while I'm here, because we got Al and Tobin and Greg and Ring, all the regulars here. Native Atheist, Pragmatic Crystal. We got Captive Desk. Hey Dave. We have John Hudson. We've got some noisy traffic. Maya Atkinson, good to see you. Dr. Mordecai is in the house. Deep Arcs, always good to see you, sweetheart. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, we're going to be continuing on with our feline theme for October's Cryptic Corner. So, if that's what you're here for, if you like Cryptic Corner and you like spooky cats and things like that, you're going to love today's episode. And yeah, so I do want to get right over there. I hope you like my makeup today. Very, very minimalist. I decided to just do brow and liner and lashes, so very minimalist. So tell me what you think. All right, so I am going to see you guys over in the kitty cat corner with Cryptic Corner today. So I'll see you over there. Good evening and welcome to Cryptic Corner, a dark little part of the Hive where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. Thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Miss Bumblebee, here bringing you to the spookier side of the internet. Today's topic's not so spooky as it could be. A continuation of the feline topic and the supernatural cats. We are going to be looking at a follow-up from the British Isles, which we also had last week. A follow-up from Scotland. So 2 Scottish cats in a row is what we're dealing with here. Last week, if you missed it, we talked about Big Ears, the demon cat of the Tay Harem, the ritual where you summon the demon cat to grant you wishes or superpowers or what have you, and you roast the cats alive. It was pretty awful, and we looked at a story of someone who allegedly ran into one of these demonic cats in the bombing of London. So fun stuff, interesting stuff. Nonetheless, I hope that you enjoy these little segments. Sometimes it takes a little turn from the beaten path of what we normally want to cover on here, but you know, it is what it is, and we have a fun time absorbing it. Sasquatch Secrets is in the house. Hey, Nikki. Good to see ya. Vandalia's up in here. Good to see you, too. People popping in as we move into Cryptic Corner. That's great. This is, I think this is a fan favorite of the segment of the show. Hopefully I inspire my friends to do fun little segments like this. But today we're going to be talking about... maybe we're going to give you a little bit of Bree origin story first, okay? So, I used to be really into fairy lore, and exploring fairy lore of different areas of the UK and whatnot. I was into the Celtic witchcraft scene and Wicca and all that, which is they like to lean heavily on Celtic imagery and fairy lore and stuff, so... I knew a lot about like Kate Shee and Q Shee, the fairy dogs and fairy cats, and all these other entities and creatures that exist in the land of in between, underneath the mountains and all that. Good stuff, fun times. Spent a lot of time reading about it and stuff. But there's one I just mentioned, the Kate Shee that. You know, maybe more than just fairy tale, maybe more than just an urban legend, maybe more than just a mystery, because the Kate Shee may just be a Kellis cat, or rabbit head cat as it's sometimes called, the fairy cat or demon cat. A clouder of former feline curiosities. Okay, this is Carl Schucker's blog. He's a cryptozoologist, and he likes to explore big cats quite a bit. So he's got a few different little segments on it. He's a little more, I shouldn't say segments. He's got a few different little blog pieces on it, but he's more critical than a lot of cryptozoologists to be sure. I don't think he follows a lot of nonsense. I actually corresponded with him about a video showing a black cougar, and he actually set me right on the right path about it, saying, hey, no, this is from, what is it, the ghost of something mountain, maybe something swamp, maybe? It's the Black Mountain Lion, but they painted it black for the movie. So it was like fake, because black mountain lions don't exist. Didn't know if you knew that or not, but that's the a point I'm going to drop. Mountain lions do not come in a melanistic form. If you see a black big cat, it's generally a leopard or a jaguar, right? Both of those big cats come in black, but the cougar does not, lions and tigers do not, and most other jungle cats do not either. However, there are several species of small cats that can become melanistic, and one of those is the domestic cat. But I digress. Let's dive right into this. I'm going to read a bit of this blog here. One would surely imagine that a mystery cat ceases to be a mystery once at least one specimen is finally obtained and submitted to science for a detailed examination. Remarkably, however, at the time of publication of my very first book on such felids, Mystery Cats of the World, way back in 1989 when I was 6 years old. I don't know how old you guys were, but I was only 6 in 1989. This was not the case with the Kellis cat from northern Scotland, UK. 4 years after its official discovery, and despite being represented by a series of preserved specimens, this enigmatic, then controversial felid form was... Is this supposed to be feliform? Come on now. Carl. Feliform, not felid form. Feliform was still awaiting a conclusive scientific identification. Happily, however, not long after my book's publication, the identification was duly made, but was found not to be one of any taxonomic significance, i.e., the Kellis cat was shown to be neither a new species in its own right, nor even a new subspecies of an already known species, as now briefly recalled. I have already dealt with this subject very comprehensively in my 1990s paper reviewing this feliform. Carl, come on. I thought it was a typo at first, but you can't seriously think it's felid form. Now, come on. You're supposed to be a zoologist, a cryptozoologist, but, you know, I'm a cryptozoologist, and I say it's feliform, not felid form. But you feel free to correct me. Maybe there's a British way of saying it that I don't know, but anyway. History in presenting my own bibliographical reference or researches regarding it that was published by the International Society of Cryptozoology's peer-reviewed scientific journal, Cryptozoology, which should be consulted for further details. They want you to consult the journal, the Cryptozoology journal. The history of the Kellis cat began publicly on the 19th of September in 1984, when a local Moray newspaper, the Forest Gazette, devoted an entire front page to a detailed world-exclusive report written by its editor, David Morgan. Its subject was the hitherto little publicized capture within the Scottish Highlands 3 months earlier of a large, most striking cat, which did not readily recall any felid then known to science. Mystery Big Cat could shake the world, read the eye-catching headlines. Does West Moray shelter a species unknown to man? The photograph immediately beneath the imposing line was no less startling either, and certainly lent them its full support, for it depicted a quite extraordinary cat. Its pelage was dark and bristly, predominantly black in color, but flecked all over with very long, gleaming white primary guard hairs. Its broad head tapered in a narrow muzzle, with jaws that contain spectacularly prominent upper and lower canines. The upper pair actually projected from the mouth even when the jaws were closed. A second photograph showed the specimen laid down upon its right flank. We'll look at these pictures in a second, by the way. Right flank beside a measuring ruler whose scales revealed that the total length of the cat was approximately 3.5 feet, which is absolutely massive for a cat. That's wild cats don't even really get that big. 3.5 feet, come on now. The photograph also depicted the noticeable gracility of the cat, possessing a slender body and seemingly lengthy limbs. An adult male, it had been trapped in a fox snare in June of 1984 within the grounds of Rivac Lodge. The lodge gamekeeper, Ronald Douglas, had subsequently discovered the dead body and brought it back to the lodge, whereupon, as a result of its very noteworthy appearance, Highland Wildlife Park Director Edward R.J. Orbell and local veterinarian surgeon John Robertson were invited to view it, and some of the photographs were snapped by Orbell. Let's look at this cat real quick. Here's some pictures of it. I mean, to me, it looks like just a cat, but I can't speculate that it's because I wasn't there to examine it. I'm also not a veterinarian. The size sounds phenomenal, like not something that would be normal. I've heard reports of cats getting like super big in Australia. We may have to talk about that at some point, but in Scotland there is this distinct subspecies of wildcat, the Scottish wildcat, the Highland tiger, which is the largest subspecies of European wildcat in the world, and they're very rare. Like there's the idea is that there's not even any pure wildcats still left in the wild. So, you know. As far as this one goes, this is definitely not a puma. This is definitely a feliform of some kind, or a felis, something within the cat genus, the house cat genus. Maybe bigger, but yeah, this is a house cat, or this is a felis. Like it could be a wild cat, but. Or a what do they call it? The Norwegian forest cat. That's a breed that gets really big and black. It's big, I think as big as Maine Coon cats. Yeah. News of this singular find rapidly traveled throughout Great Britain, and recognizing its potential scientific worth, Douglas sent the specimen to a local taxidermist in Kirkmichael, Perthshire, for mounted preparation. At this point, however, it seemingly vanished because for many years afterwards, the whereabouts were a mystery. But its skin, minus the tail, was eventually rediscovered, as noted in 2008 by British paleontologist and cryptozoological writer Dr. Darren Naish in a Tetrapod Zoology blog article. I love Darren Naish. Darren Naish is the bee's knees when it comes to cryptozoology. Meanwhile, on October 3rd, 1984, the headlines of the Forest Gazette were once again dominated by news and accompanying photographs of a large, black, ferocious-looking cat. As I discovered when I examined the specimen, however, or myself, it was clearly of the same felid type as the Ravac cat. That's that one we just looked at up there. That's this one. This is the Ravac cat. A second adult male, complete with sparkling white guard hairs, plus two small white spots, one in the middle of its chest and the other inguinal. I don't know what that means. Sizable canines and a gracile build. The head and body length was 26 inches, with a further 12 inches in constituting the tail length. So it's another 30+ inch cat. So they're talking about a huge kitty cat, really big. Apparently had been one of a pair of such cats observed in January 1983 by local laird Thomas Christie near the River Lossy in the vicinity of the tiny village of Kellis in West Moray. He shot one and the other escaped unharmed. Christie had seen and shot other individuals of this cat form in the past and decided to have this latest example preserved as a permanent exhibit. Thus it was mounted for display purposes by a local taxidermist, placing it upon a robust pine branch in a somewhat menacing, snarling pose. Having read the Forest Gazette account of the Revac cat, Christie realized that his own specimen was evidently of a similar type, so he contacted editor David Morgan to inform him of its existence. Within a fortnight of the second specimen's media debut, the Revac cat had somehow vanished. Suddenly, Christie's exhibit was the sole preserved representative of this newly discovered felid form. Just gonna ignore it, Bree. Just ignore it. Known to be in existence. Needless to say, therefore, it's recently received considerable publicity. So much so, in fact, that the entire cat form that was represented began to be referred to as the Kellis cat. After this Kellis derived example, moreover, the name was both descriptive, alluding to the locality within this cat form's known distribution range, and specific, no other type of the cat referenced by this name. Consequently, when I instigated my own independent research relating to this felid, culminating in my own production of my aforementioned scientific paper, the first one to document and discuss zoologically its most likely zoological identity, I formally adopt the name Kellis cat for that new felid form within the latter work, a name that has since been widely used and acknowledged as his official English name. Here's the mounted specimen right here, the one that's preserved in the actual Kellis cat, the one mounted on the pine branch that the guy had shot by the river, and there were two of them and one of them escaped. Yeah, so there you go. It's got some weird looking ears. I guess that's why they call it a rabbit head cat. But continuing on. Now this is Thomas Christie's specimen. When the Revac specimen first attracted public attention, it was assumed by some to be an immature individual of a black Pantherine-esque mystery cat reported from Exmoor, Scotland, and elsewhere in Great Britain. However, it soon became clear that it was representative of a completely separate, smaller felid type. Consequently, Christie's mounted specimen was examined at London's Natural History Museum, with the scientific world and the general public alike awaiting the outcome with interest. Although the most significant animal, the Kellis-derived example, was not ideally suited for the precise and painstaking purpose of taxonomy. For example, certain cranial bones were missing, including the nasal, crucial in cat classification. In addition, by being a mounted taxidermy specimen, its internal structure could not be readily studied. Fortunately, however, the museum was able to counter this later problem to a certain extent by employing X-ray analysis in order to obtain an indirect view of those components of its skeleton preserved within its mounted form. All right. In the late spring of 1985, a short report was issued by Daphne Hill, at the time the NHM's expert on small mammals, in which her opinion concerning Christie's Kellis cat was summarized, and I duly received copies of this report for several different people. It stated that although the possibility of the specimen being either a domestic cat, Scottish wildcat hybrid, or a feral domestic cat could not be totally ruled out, available evidence suggests that it's most probably a melanistic Scottish wildcat, and as such, the first one documented. This identity has also been put forward independently by certain other zoologists, including Dr. Frank Turk. That's not Dr. Frank Turek, though. Don't get those guys mixed up. Two different dudes. Yes. I hope you all are enjoying this kitty talk, because I like talking about mystery cats and stuff. Bree, you saw that article I posted about the Jags coming to Arizona? Yes, I'm so excited. Jaguars are so amazing. So beautiful megafauna that's been missing from our biome for far too long. I do like to see them coming back up into North America. It's wonderful. My cat looks exactly like Salem and Binks animatronic, like from Hocus Pocus and Sabrina. Sweet. I like black cats. We used to have one named Thorn who was adorable and sweet. Since then, however, several additional dead and even some living specimens have been procured, some of which sported cryptic pelage, striping, and or brown vibrissae and eyebrows, with Kellis cat material having been subsequently examined both at the NHM and at what is now the National Museum of Scotland in Edinburgh. Moreover, as there were all unmounted specimens, their internal components could be examined directly rather than only indirectly. As with the Christie taxidermy exhibit, in every case, the specimen in question was concluded to be a domestic cat Scottish wildcat hybrid, with all but one of these specimens closer in form to its wildcat progenitor than to its domestic cat progenitor. In the case of the one exception, the reverse situation was apparent. Consequently, as its status is only that of a crossbreed, the Kellis cat is nowadays looked upon merely as a feline curiosity rather than a cat form of any precise taxonomic worth. Nevertheless, and as I predicted in my earlier mentioned cryptozoology paper, it would appear to be more than just a simple first-generation hybrid, inasmuch as the Kellis cat's distinctive morphology is thought to be the outcome of several generations of interbreeding and back-crossing, introgressive hybridization. This process can yield progeny that are very different morphologically, not only from their hybrid parents, but also from their two original purebred progenitor species. Here's another Kellis cat found during 2002 in the Insich, I guess you say that's Insich, area of Aberdeenshire, now on display as a taxiderm specimen in the Zoological Museum, University of Aberdeen. Let's get a good look at that one. You see the white guard hair sticking through like it was talking about, and it's got this mark on its chest, right? This white mark. Does your cat have a white mark on its chest, Sumami? They give it really vibrant green eyes, though. They have a unique kind of look to them, don't they? Speaking of distinctive morphology, in 1988, an even more and normally distinctive Kellis-like cat was shot by a local gamekeeper in the Dufftown area of Speyside. Distinguishing this adult male example from previously publicized Kellis cat specimens was not only its alleged lack of white primary guard hairs and chest patches, but also, in particular, its oddly shaped head reminiscent of a rabbit, together with large ears, Roman-type nose, and notably small brain case. A second rabbit head cat was shot in December 1993 by gamekeeper Jimmy McVeigh after his dog had flushed it out of a pond in a locality near East Kilbride, where it had been swimming in pursuit of some wildfowl. The cat was an adult female, but displayed much the same head shape, Roman nose, as the Dufftown cat. Moreover, it has been suggested that the Revac specimen of the Kellis cat from 1984 may have been yet another rabbit head cat, but unlike claims to the contrary for the Dufftown individuals, the Revac cat's pelage definitely sported the long white primary guard hairs. According to the online article on Kellis cats by veterinarian surgeon Andrew Bauer, click there to access that, the East Kilbride rabbit-headed cat's skull was later examined in Edinburgh as what was then still the Royal Museum of Scotland by felid expert Dr. Andrew Kitchener, who had previously examined Kellis cat material there. In his article, Bowers stated, Kitchener's findings suggest the rabbit-head cat skull exhibited no real anatomical difference between it and specimens of Scottish wildcats and domestic cats and their hybrids. In her own online account of Kellis cats, cat author Sarah Hartwell briefly commented that the Dufftown rabbit-head cat had a distinctly Siamese Oriental profile, indicative that the domestic breed that had been involved with the hybridization. During one of the numerous, always interesting and informative telephone conversations that I enjoy for many years with the internationally renowned felid geneticist Roy Robinson, he mentioned to me that after scrutinizing photographs and written descriptions of the Dufftown cat, his considered opinion as to its identity was that it was most probably merely a freak, tetralogical specimen of either a large feral domestic cat or a Kellis cat. The second of these two options put forward by Roy is also my personal opinion with regards to the likely identity of the rabbit-head cat. Although it became known to science only quite recently, the reality that the Kellis cat may not be of only quite recent origin, but at least not if we take note of two very intriguing items of information drawn from certain archaeological and folkloric sources. In addition, of course, to generations of local sightings of such animals. Firstly, as I originally learned back in the 1980s from the late Professor Charles Thomas, who was director of the University of Exeter, Institute for Cornish Studies of a leading archaeological specializing in prehistoric and protohistoric Britain. Evidence from early place names in northern Scotland indicate that one of the native animals incorporated into the region's tribal nomenclature of early Roman, post-Roman times may have been a fairly large black form of cat. Secondly, while researching Scottish mythology in relation to the Kellis cat during the mid-1980s, I discovered from the writings of Catherine Briggs and others that Highland folklore included a legendary cat called the Kate She, or fairy cat, a sizable creature sporting a black bristly pelage, white throat patch, and sparks or stars over its fur. According to traditional local accounts, if these sparks or stars refer to the gleaming white primary guard hairs, and one could hardly ask for a more apposite layman description of them, then the Kate She bears an almost exact resemblance to the Kellis cat. Consequently, if the latter felid form is only of quite recent origin, it is truly a most remarkable coincidence that the only region of Great Britain from which specimens or sightings of Kellis cats have emerged is also the same region of Great Britain that contains in its traditional folklore a creature bearing an uncanny similarity to the Kellis cat. Here's another one. There's the white patch. This one looks more brown on the underside, though, I think. They could have dusted it off for the picture. Good grief. No less surprising, however, is the existence of a felid that has, at least on first sight, seems to be an Eastern European counterpart to the Kellis cat. Yet, just such an animal was scientifically documented as long ago as 1904, as now revealed. During the early 1980s, I was surprised to uncover a scientific paper published in 1904 by the Proceedings of the Zoological Society of London concerning a black cat that appeared very reminiscent of Scotland's then unexplained feline enigma, the Kellis cat, but which inhabited Transcaucasia, also known as the South Caucasus, or South Caucasus. This is a geographical region near the southern Caucasus Mountains on the border of Eastern Europe and Western Asia, roughly corresponding to the area occupied by modern-day Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. I guess that's how you say that one. I'm not sure. Azerbaijan? Hope I'm not. If you're from there, tell me how to say it right and I'll fix it. I wonder if he's using felid form to specify cryptids that look like they might be cats as opposed to ones that are actually taxonomically labeled as feliforms. Could be. You think he's trying to avoid using taxonomy ring? Pretty white patch she has on her tsunami. Within this paper, the cat had been formally described and named Felis daemon. I like that. By the eminent Russian zoologist, Professor Konstantin A. Satunin, basing his description upon 2 mounted specimens, 3 skins, and 3 skulls, all housed in what is now the Russian Academy of Sciences headquarters in Moscow Archive and Library in St. Petersburg. Other scientists, however, did not share his view that the feliform warranted separate taxonomic status. In 1917, fellow Russian zoologist Dr. Nestor Smirnov referred to it as F. sylvestris caucasia abers daemon, treating it as a morph or aberrant form of the Caucasian wildcat. Conversely, another Russian zoologist, Dr. Sergei Ognev, relegated it even further to the level of mere feral domestic cat, even though he did concede that a melanistic morph may exist within the Caucasian wildcat population. Moreover, in 1951, with his major taxonomic review of small cats, catalog of the genus Felis, British felid taxonomist Reginald I. Pocock also classified F. daemon as a feral domestic cat, and it has remained thus ever since. Yet, is this truly accurate assessment of its status, and how, if at all, is F. daemon related to the Kelis cat? There's a vintage stuffed version of Felis daemon. Feral domestic or not, the Trans-Caucasian daemon or demon cat certainly displays some marked morphological similarities to Scotland's Kelis cat, as following descriptions of this contentious mainland European felid demonstrates. Based upon the museum specimens examined by Situnin, its length from nose to tail base ranged from 22 to 30 inches, its tail length from 13 to 15 inches, fur color varied from black with a slight reddish tinge to a reddish brown, slightly paler on the underpart, inner surface of the extremities, and distal undersurface of the tail. Viewed at certain angles, black transverse stripes were visible upon the flank of the body's forepart, more conspicuous or faded skin. Very long white hairs were scattered scantily over the body. Vibrissae and eyebrows were brown, claws white. With regards to the cranial features, Situnin noted that F. daemon differed from the wildcats both in the possession of somewhat narrow frontal regions and in the extension of the upper jawbone further back there than the nasal bone, which is reverse condition of that exhibited by the wildcats. Clearly, the dark pelage flecked with long white hairs exhibited by the Trans-Caucasian demon cat compares with that of the Kelis cat, especially with certain specimens of the latter felid form, that share its cryptic striping and even its brown eyebrows and vibrissae. But how closely do their relative body proportions compared? With the exception of one extra large skin, but which may well have been stretched during preparation, F. daemon specimens examined by Situnin do compare favorably in head and body length with the Scottish wildcat and Kelis cat specimens measured in detail. Conversely, the tail length recorded from F. daemon specimens are rather longer than those documented for Scottish wildcats and Kelis cats. Here's a sketch of one. Renowned Exmoor-based naturalist Trevor Beer did this one. It's a piece of art. It's kind of an otter nose in this picture. Weird. Have a good one, John. Thanks for hanging out. How much longer do we got on this? Oh, not much longer. Here we go. Worth mentioning here is that an increased tail length is one condition proposed by wildcat expert Mike Tomkes and others as evidence for wildcat domestic cat hybridization within the Scottish Highlands. Possibly that trans-Caucasian demon cat is simply first-generation melanistic hybrid as opposed to an introgressive hybrid resulting like the Kellis cat has apparently done for several generations of interbreeding and back crossing. It would be interesting to see what genetic analysis conducted upon DNA samples extracted from the preserved F. demon skins would uncover. Also, a potential relevance here is Felis obscura, aptly named inasmuch as the mysterious South African cat form has long since faded into zoological obscurity. Indeed, even its name was ultimately given by paleontologist Dr. Q.B. Hindi to an entirely different felid, a fossil specimen from South Africa's Miocene and Pliocene epoch. However, the original F. obscura has formally dubbed by French zoologist Anselme G. Desmarest in his renowned tomb Mammalogy description. I'm not going to try this. Mammiferis, 1820, was a living felid almost uniformly black or exceedingly dark brown with faint striping on its limbs, tails, flanks, and cheeks. The only image of F. obscura that I am currently aware of is the following depiction consisting of a color plate from 1834. That's this one. So I don't know if it even really looks like it's anything but a wildcat, really. This dusky feline was first brought to popular attention by eminent French zoologist Baron Georges Cuvier. He briefly documented it in Volume 8 of his Dictionary of Science and Naturalism in 1817 and referred to it as Black Cat of the Cape. Nowadays, this F. obscura, as opposed to the wholly different fossil one, is synonymized with the African wildcat F. libica. Consequently, if any museum specimen of it exists, they presumably constitute melanistic African wildcats. And so, with the categorization, he said sorry and he spelled it silly, of Felis obscura ostensibly resolved, it's time to bid a fond farewell to this dark-coated clouder of erstwhile mystery felines, duly disentangled and delineated. Yeah, it's got his dedications down here and stuff, but and a couple of his books. But there are a few sightings of Kellis cats that I wanted to go over real quick before we wrap this segment up. Hope you all are here for it. All right, we're going to watch this one. Let me know what you guys think here. Obviously, that's an owl up there, but... Now feeding its babies some rodents. Flies away. Here's our Kellis cat. That owl did not like that. It doesn't look as big as the description of a Kellis cat, though. Just like a black, looks like a black domestic cat to me. There's the owl again. Ah! Coming right at us. If a cat has a demon inside of it, then its skin is stretched. Oh, I suppose so. I think that's it, though. I don't think it comes back. You gonna come back, kitty kitty? No? And then the morning comes. Yeah. Oh yeah, that looks like a domestic cat to me too, Tobin. Domestic cats, though, are probably the most efficient predator on the face of the earth. They're most prolific anyway. We've released any place that we let them go, they take over as like a dominant meso predator and wipe out all the little food. So that was that. What else do we have on this? Oh yeah, this guy. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get through on this, but this guy found one on as roadkill. He goes on about it, but because he's deeply Scottish, we're going to have the translations on to understand what the heck he's saying. And he's got really, really bad audio too. So. Last week I found a cat that's of what we believe. He's had sightings himself. Oh, is it muted? You can't understand him anyway, it's okay. But I'll restart.
Side of the motorway here, where last week I found the carcass of what we believe is probably the first confirmed black leopard roadkill in the UK. Now, 30-40 years there's been talk about cats in Britain, many sightings. I've had sightings myself. Once in the mid to late 90s when I was training.
So yeah, he's like walking down the side of a busy road. So I mean, but he's going to examine roadkill, so it makes sense. But it's just there's bad audio.
Before I joined the Royal Marines, I watched a big cat climbing the side of a hill face in the snow. I also seen another one with a mate of mine, and I know of a gamekeeper in the north of Scotland who, over a period of many years, watched one on a regular basis on a very, very remote estate in Scotland, the North West Highlands. So, while past...
Well, his accent coupled with the traffic, it's a little bit rough for me to follow. But
this area on the A9 last week, we spotted something at the side of the road, and the Highways Agency were already there, doing their nosy around it. And I asked for the carcass and I offered them money, but they had laid claim to it because they knew what it was. They absolutely knew what it was. And,
I think that was carcass, not cactus. I don't think he asked for a cactus.
I I've got a first sample from it, thankfully.
Wrong island, Tobin. You better not let Robbie hear you say that. He's right. I'm not yeah, well, I guess he does. Probably he has some Scottish ancestry.
For anyone that wants to debate the DNA of it, and you know, it was an animal probably about, I would say it would maybe be about 35 or 40 pounds in weight. Its legs were as thick as the bottom of my wrist. Its fur was really kind of, you know, dense, thick, really protective fur. But its head had been obliterated by the vehicle that struck it, or subsequent vehicles. However, I've got a tape here, measured the area, exactly where it was, because there's a map on the road, which is a patch in, and I know exactly where it was flying. And we moved it off the road with the highways guys, but they already went.
You're right. Just say the road noises applause. They're really excited about him measuring the spot where this dead cat was.
Got a sack and stuff to put it on, and they had a flatbed. Now when I came back here the other day, that vehicle passed me and they were laughing, like, not laughing, but they were shouting, gave me a thumbs up. And I was like shouting, I said, pull over what he's done, mate, but they kept driving. I thought they were going to come back, but they never appeared back. So, I don't know what they've done with it, but they were on the big cat groups, and they did say that they were going to speak to certain people that they knew about this thing, and it wasn't the first one that had been discovered, not by them, but they knew another group of guys that had found one a few years ago, apparently up near Ballater. So you take a lot with a pinch of salt, but I'm working with facts today. I've seen it. I've got a witness who's seen it also. I handled it. Its head was obliterated, but proper, you know, good teeth, really, really broad head, short, stubby ears, quite a broad kind of flat head, thick neck, muscular animal. Really, really strong.
He really is describing something that comes across as more pantherine than like a typical feline, though.
Muscular animal. And right across the road from where I seen it, you know, it goes straight onto probably 50 to 100 square miles of mountains and forestry. Pheasants everywhere, rabbits, hares, deer. And unfortunately it's been struck on the road. They're not big animals. Leopards are not big animals. When you see melanistic leopards in captivity, they're actually really small. People say, I've seen an animal 6 foot long, you know, there's no such animal, they don't exist. Anyway, it wasn't a hybrid, it wasn't anything, I think it was a young one, to be honest with you.
What makes you think it wasn't a hybrid, though? Why wasn't it a hybrid? The Kellis cat's been basically determined to be a hybrid, so are you disagreeing with the DNA? Why?
It's hard to say, are they breeding? You just see the tractor there in the background, guys. That's the farmer just leaving. Nice guy, didn't want to go on camera, typical farmer, quite reserved, shy, introverted, whatever you want to call it, just didn't want the publicity. Said these things have been around here for decades. His father used to see them in these mountains up here. I'm not going to put the guy, you know, he's at the end of the day, he's a private guy, he's going about his business. He said he's not surprised in the slightest. The next farmer up has basically said to me that there was a brown one on this very land not so long ago that was seen every few months, then it would vanish for months, then it would appear back, then it would come back again. And he reckoned that they were out in the lamp one night and they had it within 100, 150 feet of them.
Hydrate.
Not meters, feet, you know, which is within the range of, you know, a 22-250. It's a small calibre. They were out doing foxes and they clearly seen what it was, and the boy lifted his rifle to it, and the guy that was lamping tapped the barrel and went, don't shoot it, don't shoot it. It's not, he said, just let it go, it's not right. So that could still be out there as well. And when you look at the mountains up there, and the trees and the foliage on them, the coverage is phenomenal. And, I'm a hill walker, you know, I'm in the mountains. These cats would be the size of a hair out there. It's like a needle in a haystack. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that there'll be debate and there'll be people saying no, this, that. I'm not interested. I seen it. I seen the base 8's feet. I seen the size of its paws. I seen the pads on it.
Wish you would have got out.
Its legs. So
I wish you would have got out there and got some pictures of its paw, like compared to your hand and stuff when it was still laying there, friend.
yeah, no debate. No debate for me. I always wished that I would get very accurate footage of one alive, really close up and stuff like that. But circumstances usually dictate the event. There are very few good video footages out and very few accurate photographs. For everybody nowadays that's got a great phone in their hand, some of the photographs leave a lot to debate. I try
I thought he said hill walker, but I'm not sure.
and be crystal clear in what I do. So he took one look at the images and said, I know exactly what it is. He said it was clearly a big cat. Anyway, yeah, the experts don't know everything about these big cats. I've still never seen anyone really talking about the big cat that lives in a certain MOD base in Scotland. It's been there for a long, long time. And it's apparently on its last legs.
Applause!
I.e. it's an old cat. They can live for 30 years, these things. So, anyway guys, I'm going to cross over. As I say, I use this measuring tape to gauge against my photographs and take some pretty accurate measurements, and I'm pretty sure that what I had was way, way bigger than any domesticated cat, but not overly big that it qualified into something that was apparently 5 foot long and the size of an Alsatian. Because that's not the size of these cats, they're not that size. So just spoke to this farmer here earlier, now he's back again. He said there's been a lot of sightings about this area for years. Described something, and when I showed him the photographs, he said that's exactly what has been getting seen. So I'm going to try and catch another wee chat with him and see what he says. Okay,
Another wheat chaplain. I don't know what that is. So here's the animal. Sorry, I guess I should have done trigger warning, but we've all seen roadkill, right? We've all seen a dead cat on the side of the road, unfortunately.
Cat at the side of the A9 here, it's absolutely huge and it is built like a tank.
It's built like a tank.
Fucking hell, it's huge, man.
36. I have a hard time because what they got marked off is 36 inches here. That's a huge cat.
Big, massive, broad head, big ears, and its bloody legs are as thick as my wrist.
Yeah.
The size of the head on it, man.
Put your hand down there so I can see these paws.
Really big. Its legs are solid, it weighs a ton.
And that's it. Yeah, that's it. This was only a year ago, though, so it's been fairly recently. Lots of people in here chiming in that they've seen it in their area. They've seen these cats. But, yeah, that was our Kellis Cat segment of Cryptic Corner for you today. Had you heard of the Kellis Cat before? Was this a new creature for you to discover? What do you think? I do think it's just a land race of hybrid domestic cats and Scottish wild cats. So, yeah, I think that's probably right. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this segment of Cryptic Corner, and please remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time. All right, again, live from the Hive crew. Don't go anywhere. We got more show ahead, more show to go, and we are going to be moving into some biblical prophecy next. So you're not going to want to miss out on that. You're not going to want to miss out on raptures and stuff that are coming up. Raptures. We missed the last one. This next one might get us, though. You never know. So I will see you guys over there in Creation Watch. Didn't God lie the first time he talked to people? The first thing he said to people was lie. You eat of this tree, you're going to die this very day, and then they didn't.
Oh, let me guess. Satan was the one that told the truth, right?
Of course. Good, you're familiar with the story, Jill. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Luciferian narrative. Yeah, very familiar.
Can God do something logically impossible?
Helen Blavatsky is where that concept came from.
Helen
Although
Blavatsky.
she didn't invent it. She didn't invent it, but
I love Helen.
nothing more
Blavatsky.
than the sun.
It's a fun argument.
Satan is Helen Blavatsky, and
have you read Helen Blavatsky?
The Theosophical Society.
Yeah, have you read Helen Blavatsky? I've read Helen Blavatsky.
Yeah, she's a witch.
So she's a witch?
I don't know about that.
You believe in witches, Jill?
That's where that comes from.
Bree, Jill did tell me earlier that, he does believe, and I'm not, no shade, but he does believe that, Satan can, or evil demonic spirits can talk through animals earlier in the stream.
Oh, hell yeah, Jill, talk about that. Why are we wasting our time with this stupid...
Yes?
At that point, you'll be talking about talking animals. I want to hear more about that.
If she's single and she has 3 cats, they're probably demonic friends. Ichabus, Sycabus, and probably Baal. That she, communicates with at night. Cats are very
I
highly.
have a question about the communicating with the cats. And were they all cats?
Cats are very susceptible to the demonic realm. Yes.
Okay, so are the cats when she communicates with the cats? Are the cats? And maybe you don't know, and tell me if you don't.
She's communicating with demons. Cats
are
don't
the
have
cats vocal cords?
Cats don't have vocal cords. She's communicating with demons.
Cats do have vocal cords.
Wait, Bree, not Bree. I'm sorry. Cat. Wait, just 1 second, Bree.
Okay, cats do have vocal cords. We're gonna establish that right now. They do have vocal cords that allow them to make verbal sounds.
Oh, okay. So you mean vocal cords in that sense? Okay.
Vocal cords in the sense of vocal cords that are a biological part of an animal's body. Yeah. So yes. Are the cats actually producing the sound with their vocal cords, or is there like some etheric voice vibrating the sound waves and penetrating her ears?
Penetrating her ear.
Or are the cats communicating with her? How does she communicate with her familiars? Are they communicating psychically? Like brain waves passing back and forth? Tell me about it, Joe.
I'm curious. I'm with Bree on this.
Mind communication. I already answered this with you.
I know, but still.
I wasn't here, baby. Just tell me about it.
Yeah, we believe that just like Satan communicates, even though he doesn't have vocal cords either, not human.
So let me talk to Jill.
So go ahead.
Yeah, we don't believe that these are just vibrations on some string or chord.
Like not they're more. It's more than an audible vibration.
We believe that humans, the distance between us and a meow is the distance of infinity. But you can call them vocal cords if you like. Just like you call fins on some creature hands. So you can call them whatever you like. Women, you can call them whatever you want to call them nowadays. So I understand it. But we believe that there was mind-to-mind communication. When the Bible says that the snake talked, we don't necessarily mean that the snake vocalized, the human language. But these are spiritual beings that are speaking through mind-to-mind communication.
Mind-to-mind, there we go. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for to find. That's what I was asking about. So it's mind-to-mind communication. So we're talking about a psychic link between Eve and the serpent in the garden, or the donkeys that spoke to? Who the donkey talked to, Jill?
The donkey may have actually spoke.
You think the donkey spoke?
The donkey may have actually spoke. I don't think that was a
Donkeys do have a lot of
metaphor.
wild vocalizations that they can make. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So you think a spirit was in the donkey?
No, I think that the God enabled the donkey to talk in that instance.
So
it's a rare, non-normative event.
So
it's either
there was a
Balaam or
literal
Balak.
miracle that-
Normative.
where God stuck. Actually, God himself interfered with the nature of reality.
Yeah, God can interfere with nature.
Yeah.
He can control the weather also.
Oh goodness! Fill in a little bit more about the familiar thing, and then I'll let you guys have at this conversation. I just want to understand because the familiars are a lot different than the creatures, the snake, the serpent, and the Bible, and all that kind of stuff, because they're things that happened allegedly in historical records, right? There's court cases where people talked about familiar cats and toads and things speaking with the devil's tongue to witches and whatnot. So, Jill, am I understanding that you think that this was like a real phenomena and not some sort of a mass hysteria?
Schizophrenia.
It still is an issue today. That's why I would stay away from single women with cats.
Makes sense.
Especially if they're over 18.
So do you think that people today have familiar animals that they speak psychically to that guide them to do the work of the devil or the work of demons? And the evidence for this exists. Is it specifically in the Bible, or do you actually look into the old witch hunting doctrine and go off of what that stuff says as well? So do you just base your belief that that people have magical talking animals on the Bible, or do you base it on some sort of extensive doctrine?
And Jill,
based on the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
That demonstrates itself to be reliable, historical,
where are there
evidential.
Okay, where are there animal familiars in the Bible? What verses are we looking at?
What are the animal? Say that again.
What are the animal familiars mentioned in the Bible?
What are the animal familiars
mentioned in the Bible?
I'm not sure what you mean by familiars.
The animal familiars for the witches that you're talking about, the witches that have animal familiars.
I was saying familiar spirits. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I don't think they're mentioned in the Bible. I think you're making that up or adding that in yourself.
No, I don't think. No, that's not a biblical.
It's extra biblical, right?
Teaching.
Good job, Jill.
No.
It's extra biblical.
Oh, this is hilarious.
The animals that were in Scripture that were said to be possessed by demons were pigs. That's the only example we really have.
And which witches were they familiars to?
0.
What do you mean?
So this whole conversation you've been talking about witches having cats as familiars, right? That's been the topic.
Yeah, that's not. I'm not saying that's a biblical
right?
teaching. I never said that.
Yeah, I know some women with familiar pussies. I'm sorry.
So,
just to clarify,
Christians have superstitions
magical
that aren't necessarily.
Hold on. You believe in magical talking cats outside of the Bible? You just believe in that as an extra?
Christians have superstitions also that aren't found in Scripture. Thank you.
Okay, just that's what I was wanting to clarify.
Also,
so you just believe in general magical stuff like that, huh? But
yeah, we believe in spirits, we believe in demons, but we don't necessarily have to see in Scripture familiar cat spirits to believe.
Disclaimer: not all Christians believe these things.
And I say, so what you're telling me is if I blow a hurricane through a junkyard enough times, over billions and billions of years, eventually after one of those hurricanes, there'll be a 747 fully loaded and ready to fly.
What he's talking about, one thing he's talking about biology here, in which case we're talking about niche vacuums. So the tornado is the extinction event, right? The tornado comes through and wipes everything out. And then life starts to come back. So it's the space between the tornadoes that creates the new life. And at some point, one of those tornadoes came through and it wiped out some giant archosaurs, right? And this allowed these little scampering, warm-blooded mammals to have a chance. Tornado came through this little junkyard, these little tiny primates were able to start propagating and expanding and their ranges and moving into new niches and becoming more successful. Eventually, these little monkey guys even started to create their own technology, and that happened so fast that eventually they started taking aspects of other organisms on the earth and trying to emulate them, like flight. So then they built machines that could fly, and eventually they invented this 747 or whatever that he's talking about here. So this tornado, which the last big tornado I guess would be the KPG extinction event, did come through our junkyard. The myriad of life on Earth, it did blast right through that junkyard. What was it, like 65% or something like that of life on Earth, where the iridium layer is, right, where we can see on one side and on the other. So that iridium layer represents when the tornado came through. So the tornado came through the junkyard, and then as the organisms started to recover from that, and our little monkey hands started to want to build technology to fly, boom, the tornado in the junkyard did come through, and boom, we have 747s now. So yes, Ben Carson is right here. What happened, as long as we understand the metaphor, right? In the metaphor, the tornado is the extinction event, Earth is the junkyard, and the 747 is the result of the tornado coming through, wiping out the organisms that couldn't build 747s, and then letting the organisms that could propagate. Hello and good evening, my beauties and bees. Welcome to a new episode of Creation Watch. We are on the track of end-time prophecy today, once again. Recurring theme that we tend to run into as we explore the world of Creation Watch is that these people cannot wait for the end to come, for the end to be here, for them to get all raptured away to bliss while we're stuck here dealing with tribulation. So, if you are one of my fellow, if you're an atheist, a heathen, a non-believer, heretic, whatever your status is that's going to get you left behind when that rapture comes, please join me in exploring why and when the world's going to end next. Now, as recently discovered, the world did not end on the 22nd of September as widely predicted. But as we know from years of experience with these end-time prophets, they just move right along. So, 923 was the date. If you look, see, 920, they were all about 923 for quite some time. And then, 923, left behind. 923, ready for the storm, Jesus. End time, 923, cast out. 923, who came through. All kinds of stuff about 923. But they've, this is Wallytron 101, a channel that has 500 videos and 55,500 subscribers. 55,000. How? I don't know. Their videos are a wild ride. And I'm going to take you on one now. So, let's roll this footage.
I got this is a warning.
Let me restart it. There we go.
Hey guys, this is Wallytron 101. This is a warning. I'm not going to start this off like my normal videos. This one is a major warning. Why is everyone Googling October the 4th? And you know, October the 4th, it is a major watch. It's a warning. Please share this video, get it out far and wide, because I'm telling you guys, we are in unprecedented territories. I really believe that we're moving into the Great Tribulation. Whether you think we're moving the Great Tribulation or not, why in the world are they doing an October surprise? And yeah, October surprise, we know October 31st is October is the enemy's month. October 31st, Halloween.
Just for the record, we're the enemy, just so you guys know. You, me, Dark Brandon, all the enemy. Dylan Mulvaney, she's our evil queen. Anything left of hunting the poor for sport is basically the enemy, and Halloween is October is our month. So get your freak on, ladies and gentlemen. Get your freak on.
And remember, and this is new. I did a research on this, and then this was new. There is going to be a media blackout alarm. They're going to be shutting everything down.
Why is everything in Spanish?
FEMA is going to be shutting down everything, and I'm telling you guys, this is for all of the people that are.
So wait, this just says they're doing like a public service test. The purpose of the October 4th test is to ensure that the system continues to be effective means of warning the public about emergencies, particularly those on a national level. So just going to test the state of emergency signal or services. They're going to be like, oh, this is just a warning. This is just a test.
Awake, you need to turn your devices off. Anything that's connected to the Wi-Fi, that includes your refrigerator, anything like that, you need to be turning your stuff off. And this is going to, because in concerts, they're having concerts that it gets to, they have a certain frequency that is causing people to, it's killing people. People had heart attacks, all kind of things are happening because of a certain frequency.
People have heart attacks because of certain frequencies. That's going to come through on their phone from FEMA. Because as we all know, FEMA is the enemy of all conspiracy theorists, because they're going to put us all into FEMA camps, remember. FEMA camps were the big scare.
And remember, let me see here. Remember this movie right here, Cell. Very, very important. And John Cusack, he played in that TV show Utopia, telling you exactly what we're seeing here, have been seeing.
It's going to be based on the movies. They put this stuff in the movies to prime us, apparently. Like you see like lightsabers in the movie, it's to prime you for lightsabers.
For the last few years, and this December will be the third 3-year. This year's the third 3-year anniversary, and this movie Cell, the cell phones all come on at the same time. Every cell phone in the United States come on at the same time, like this, and then people start foaming at the mouth, and it turns them into zombies. And I watched this TV show right here.
Okay, so on October 4th, there's going to be a signal that comes through on your device. Careful with your device. There's going to be an alert that comes through that's going to tell you that you're now a zombie under control of FEMA. Daryl Dixon's going to come with his crossbow and shoot you in the head. That's how this happens.
I usually watch the first episode to kind of see what's going on here. This new Walking Dead is in France, is in Europe. It's moving into Europe. It's called Daryl Dixon. He's one of the main characters in The Walking Dead. He has his own spin-off zombie TV show, and it just aired here just recently, this month. And so it's already in the second or third episode. And so why in the world do they have so many zombie TV shows? Well, here it is, guys. It turns these people into zombies. These people, this frequency turns people into zombies, just like in this.
Your cell phone will turn you into a zombie on October 4th. John Cusack proves it. Are you calling John Cusack a liar?
Movie right here, TV show. Right, and this TV show, and the gist of this is that there's a kid that they call the Messiah. There he is. That is the kid right there they call the Messiah. And it's up to Daryl Dixon to save this kid, because he is the only one that can save the whole world. That is the premise of this. I mean, that's the premise of this whole TV show, is that Daryl Dixon is going to save this kid whose father and mother died. And he's going to save him because he is going to be the savior of the world.
Maybe that's you. Maybe that's somebody out there in the hive who's the actual Messiah that's going to be saving the world from the cell phone zombies.
What? Where have we heard that? Antichrist? Hello, the Antichrist. So there's an October surprise coming, and there is this, I believe, is possible. I'm not saying it's going to, but I'm warning you. You need to be ready, because why are there so many zombie movies, TV shows, games? Look at all the zombie games. So gross, so nasty. These games, I can't even watch them. They're so gross.
Sorry, is that better, Maya? I turned it up a little bit.
Grotesque and terrible. There's so many zombie games in World War Z, in Jerusalem. I mean, there's so much, guys. This is on and on and on and on. It goes.
I like how he's got his sensors on so sensitive that it won't even show him zombie pictures. Could you imagine being an adult and having your PC set up to, I don't know, I guess people have their own triggers. Maybe this guy was a soldier and saw some shit or something. I guess I shouldn't judge.
And so October the 4th, there's a complete media blackout, and there's going to be a signal. There is going to be a signal. There it is, a nationwide alert test scheduled for October the 4th. There's going to be a frequency that's going to come across. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm warning you. You need to share this video, get it out to your loved ones, that they need to have their devices turned off. And
do not share this video to your loved ones, please. If you share this video to your loved ones, they're going to think there's something wrong with you. They're going to be concerned for your health.
We don't know if they turn this stuff off, whether they're going to be turning it back on. And also is going to affect Israel. It's going to be in Israel. World War Z is going to be in Israel as well. And so this is a huge warning. Huge warning. And this is why everyone is Googling October the 4th. And guess what? It's going to start at 11:20 a.m. And G1120 means to kneel down to, bow the knee, kneel to.
G1120 means kneel down to, bow to, bend thine knee to.
When they click this thing on, when they do this emergency alert, is it going to force everyone to bow down to? It's going to make everyone bow down to, just like this movie right here. These people were bowed down. They were changed into monsters. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but why are they doing it at 11:20? It tells you everything. They're telling you 11:20, G1120. You can look it up. They're in the Strong's Concordance, blue letter.
No, Farron, they will move right along to the next thing. They will move right along to the next date on their calendar and start making predictions about it. Or event on their calendar, or they're going to make some. I mean, we can look and see that they already got other dates on their calendar already. We got, because 9/29's on here too, which was yesterday. So they just keep pushing it on back. Got Michelle Obama running for president. That's going to be one of the signs. You got stuff with the royal family, and it's you got Trump, the false prophet, I guess. Yeah, we got American politics. It's all tied together. Got aliens. Check it out, aliens and angels. Moses and Elijah. Yeah, they're pretty. This place is pretty. Pretty insane.
Blue letter Bible, G1120 means to kneel down to, bow the knee, kneel to. And there's no escaping this message. There's no escaping it. That's one thing I've been hearing across other watchers, other people that are reporting on this. You're not going to be able to escape this message unless you have everything in your house turned off. And even if you boot it back on and you turn it back on, you're still going to get that message. So it's also going to be at 2:22 p.m. Eastern time. And what does G222 mean? Why 222? Why 220, 220, 230? No, 222. G222 is Alexandria, Egypt.
Egypt. Okay. So my expectations then, based on what he's saying here, is that after October 4th, this channel will stop putting out content, because if he keeps putting out content, as soon as he turns on his device, he's going to get this message, and he's going to be under the zombie control too.
The world, Babylon, Alexandria.
See ya, Al. Thanks for dropping in.
Alexandria. That's what 222 means. But the biggest one is 1120. That's when it begins. So I'm really encouraging you guys, turn your stuff off. Be prepared. Be watching. Because we're just days away from that time right now. And then on the 10th day is the second October surprise is October 14th. What is it? The solar eclipse.
Oh, now it's October 14th. So we're already shifting things around.
Which is a ring of fire solar eclipse, a wedding ring solar eclipse, the second great American eclipse. Guys, I'm just telling you, there's so much, man. This is huge. And that is why everyone is Googling this stuff. And this right here, and the poster on there says it all. Fear yourself. Fear yourself. Are they going to initiate a zombie apocalypse? Why this movie right here in France? Walking Dead in Europe. Europe has been destroyed. And it's up to a savior, a young boy to save the whole world. Wow, guys, I'm telling you, I believe that we are here. We're in uncharted territory. I really believe that we're at the beginning throes of the Great Tribulation. I've been saying that for a year now and I'm going to say it again, guys. I'm going to repeat myself. And you guys that watch my videos, you know exactly what I'm going to say. On the 12th of this month, the green comet showed up, burst a dam, and the storm that burst...
On the 12th of September, green comet. Let me see. September 12th, green comet. Okay. Comet Nishimura may become visible during the first half of September. Newly discovered comet Nishimura may become visible throughout the first half of the month as it nears the closest encounter to Earth in September on the 12th. So, yeah, there was a green comet. Neat.
First, the dam is the storm Daniel's 70th week. Last year, the Feast of Trumpets was on 9:25 through 27, mirrored perfectly the book of Daniel 9:25 through 27, which is Daniel's 70th week. The new moon was spotted last year on 9:27. This year, the new moon was spotted at 19:01 in Melbourne, Australia. You guys got to see it first, and then in Jerusalem was at 19:01. 19:01 was the year that was the stock market crash. The first stock market crash is when America started falling. The stock market crash of 1901. And then, you know, the Commonwealth, Australia was welcomed to the Commonwealth in 1901. Queen Victoria died in 1901. Is that something for King Charles? And then there was a major earthquake there in the Blacks.
So, is you talking about the panic in 1901? With the North Pacific Railroad and J.P. Morgan, and I don't see it was like a real thing that happened. It was just a panic where the prices went up, or the market skyrocketed. We get that a lot these days.
See, we know exactly what's happening in the Black Sea. So there's a lot of things with 1901, guys, that is pointing to where we're at right now. In 701, read Psalm 70, verse 1, showing us, and then it was on the 16th, in the middle of the Feast of Trumpets. Last year was my highest watch date. The only watch date I set was 9/26 of last year. And this year we see that this new moon was spotted in the middle of the Feast of Trumpets. So there's a lot of warnings, guys. And this is the biggest. This is the biggest warning right here. There it is. I haven't seen this before. There's going to be a complete media blackout on October the 4th. Every single mobile device in the nation.
It means it's going to give you like an Amber Alert thing. Same thing that they do when they test the weather services. It's just saying that, yeah, all the TV stations are gonna switch to it. All the phones are gonna send out a signal on it. Computers, whatever. This is not anything new. This is something they already do regularly.
To test and ensure that the system continue to be effective means of warning the public about emergency, particularly those about at the national level. You know exactly what I'm saying. You need to read, and the FEMA is,
What
you know what I'm
was
saying.
that?
So there is a lot of information about that. So that's why everyone is Googling.
You notice that I read that earlier, and it's completely very innocent, really. He had bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom about it because he didn't actually want to read what it says. Just a public, it's a test to ensure the system continues to be effective. An effective means, again, I'm reading this for the second time, but of warning the public about emergencies, particularly those on a national level, like what we've been dealing with storms and hurricanes and wildfires, all this stuff that's been hitting us heavy because of climate change, pal. That's why we need that.
October the 4th, but this is huge. You're not going to know what in the world is going on in the world October the 4th, starting at 11:20. G11:20 means to kneel. They're going to be forcing people to kneel down, to bow the knee, kneel to. And again, there's no escaping this message. So anyway, guys, this is a huge warning. It's a huge warning. Major, major warning. Again, please share this. Get it out far and wide. Share this with your loved ones. And I'm not saying anything is going to happen, but why in the world right now are they doing this? And then 10 days later is the second, great American eclipse. Just John Cusack fulfilled what he said in that TV show, Utopia. He fulfilled that. Exactly what he said in that TV show has come to pass. And now he is in this.
TV shows aren't real, right, honey? It's not like they're TV shows. They're fiction written by people. We're writing fiction about zombies and cell phones that control people's minds. It's not real, though. We don't have to be scared. It's okay.
He's on the front line of all this stuff, guys. I'm telling you. He is on.
John Cusack's not. He's just an actor. Just an actor who plays roles. He's not on the front line of anything. You're getting a little carried away there. I hope you have somebody to talk to at home.
The front line of all of this stuff. So, whether you believe me or not, we're here, guys. We are here. You need to fear yourself. You're not going to be able to escape this message. They're going to force all the United States and Israel to bow their knee. Are they going to instigate a zombie apocalypse with this signal that's coming across? Are they going to raise up a savior in the midst of this zombie apocalypse? Because there's a major October test coming here. And all I can do is warn you guys. And please share this. Please, please, please share this. Because there's an October surprise coming. The hunt for Red October. And on the 29th is the last super blood moon alert. October the 29th. And just 5 days later is this major watch here. Major event. So
the hunt for Red October.
Guys. I'm here warning you. Please, again, share this far and wide. Get it out far. Get it out as to many people as you.
This is the natural offspring of Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, Joe Rogan. Especially Joe Rogan. This is the love child of Joe Rogan. This is where that mindset ultimately leads. Everything's a conspiracy. This is just them testing the national emergency alert system. This guy is in a panic, telling people to go into full nuclear alert mode over this.
you can. Warn them, please warn them to turn their stuff off. And 222 is Egypt, Alexandria, Egypt. But the biggest is 1120. They're going to force all the United States to bow the knee to the cell, a cell. That's what they put people in prison, is a cell tower, a cell. Fear your cell. So they're going to force everyone to bow the knee, to kneel down to with this October surprise. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it here with you. I love you. God bless you. I'll cover you with the precious blood of Jesus, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right. So, yeah, we have some prophecy. Who knew? So, yeah, this was Wallytron 101, going over some of their latest conspiracy. There's portals that they talk about here. Biden's replacements. Biden's, I like that. Michelle Obama. Who came through? They got this someone coming through a portal on that on the 23rd. It's getting wacky, weird and wacky on this little corner of YouTube. Look at this. Will our pets be raptured? Will our pets be raptured? That's only 1 minute and 52 seconds. Let's watch it. I'm kind of interested.
Hey guys, it's Wallytron 101, and this is our doggy, Miss Maggie. Elizabeth got everything all clean and everything, and she's sitting here very nervous. She doesn't know what we're doing. But Miss Maggie is here, and she is our rapture dog. And it's funny, yesterday was the 26th, 30 days to the 26th, which is our high watch date of September 26th. She was born yesterday. Her birthday was August the 26th. Can you believe that?
She's a cutie.
Guys? And she's
I want to scratch her behind her ears.
Here, let me show you Miss Maggie here. Here we go. Oh, Miss Maggie. Here you go. There she is. Do you see that right there? That right there? And it moves up. It goes up. Those are dove wings, angel wings, and see how it balls up like a whirlwind, and it goes all the way up here, right up there. And she's really nervous. Look at her. And she's our rapture dog. And yesterday was the 26th, her birthday. And it's funny, we bought pizza yesterday. We had some extra money. It was Friday. We was like, hey, let's splurge. First time in a few months we've had pizza. And this is our rapture dog. This Maggie is our rapture dog. You see that? How it swirls around right there? And she is our rapture dog. 30 days yesterday to the 26th. Here's another confirmation for us for the 26th. And Miss Maggie plays a big part of that because she's our rapture dog. Isn't that cool? All right, guys.
Poor
Love
puppy.
you guys. God bless you. Cover your precious blood of Jesus. And please give a shout out to Ms. Maggie. She's super nervous. Look at her. All right, guys.
Yeah.
I'll see you. Bye.
Well, you're talking about rapturing her. That's probably kind of scary. If I was a little doggy, I would be scared of getting raptured. But yeah, this is just the state of decay, as my stream is called, for evangelicals on YouTube. Things are really starting to spiral. There's just broken prophecy, failed prophecies. Things don't pan out the way they're expecting them to. It's really really unfortunate. I was expecting things to get better maybe among that crowd, but it's just they're spiraling. Again, like you all mentioned, Alex Jones and things like that. That's the state of affairs. Now, yeah, I'll keep my eye on these end times prophets, and we'll keep track of it and see how many different prophecies we can debunk in per year. You know, and see if the numbers are actually going up. That's an experiment we could do. But the evangelicals are not okay. They're just not. This is crazy. Anyway, please remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time. All right, live from the Hive audience. I did have a video I was going to respond to for some Hive side today. I've been doing that pretty regularly. Another one from Brightside, but I'm going to put it off because I'm just too out of it right now. I am going to go ahead and still do 2 segments with you, though. They're just going to be some shorter segments. One is something that Jenny Morgan actually brought up to me. So I will see you guys. I will see you guys over there.
This legend raises a lovely problem. How does it come about that the face of a warrior is cut on the carapace of a Japanese crab? How could it be? The answer seems to be that humans made this face. But how? Like many other features, the patterns on the back or carapace of this crab are inherited. But among crabs, as among humans, there are many different hereditary lines. Now, suppose purely by chance, among the distant ancestors of this crab, there came to be one which looked just a little bit like a human face. Long before the battle, fishermen may have been reluctant to eat a crab with a human face. In throwing it back into the sea, they were setting into motion a process of selection. If you're a crab, and your carapace is just ordinary, the humans are going to eat you. But if it looks a little bit like a face, they'll throw you back, and you'll be able to have lots of nice little baby crabs that all look just like you. As many generations passed of crabs and fisher folk alike, the crabs with patterns that look most like a samurai face preferentially survived. Until eventually, there was produced not just a human face, not just a Japanese face, but the face of a samurai warrior. All this has nothing to do with what the crabs might want. Selection is imposed from the outside. The more you look like a samurai, the better your chances of survival. Eventually, there are a lot of crabs that look like samurai warriors.
All right. Hello, and good evening. Thank you for joining me in a little slice of strange science today. This was something that I actually saw when I was looking for stuff to go over a couple days ago, but it did just kind of slip my mind. And then Jenny was talking about it just last night on Steph's show, on Steph's 200 subscriber celebration. So if you didn't see that, it was a pretty fun time last night. Some of the cool people you see here in the side chat were actually there in that side chat, or there on that panel. So check that out. But yeah, Jenny had mentioned this topic, and I had, since I had seen it, I figured I would go ahead and give it a little bit of coverage, because you guys know that Bree loves sharks. And here on HiveScience, they're talking about some strange shark behavior. So the strange story of a shark, or of sharks that lived in a golf course pond for 20 years, then vanished. In the 1990s, a group of juvenile bull sharks were left stranded in a golf course pond in Australia, where they thrived for decades. Now scientists are trying to understand why. Unlike many other shark species, bull sharks, Carcharodontis luacus, are able to survive in freshwater environments such as rivers. For nearly 20 years, a group of bull sharks lived in an artificial pond in an Australian golf course after being stranded by receding floodwaters. Then they vanished. A new paper published in August on the 18th in the journal Marine and Fishery Sciences chronicle the history of this unique population. Bull sharks are unusual in that they can live in freshwater environments and are found in rivers around the world. Although their freshwater sojourns are typically temporary, bull sharks can occasionally have occasionally been trapped in freshwater environments for long periods, and apparently they thrive. The golf course sharks were likely washed inland during a period of flooding. The Carbrook Golf Club, southeast of Brisbane, is directly adjacent to the Logan and Albert Rivers. Summer storms occasionally result in rainfall that breaches the banks of the river, inundating the surrounding floodplain. Given that the course is less than 6.2 miles, or 10 kilometers inland from the coast, it is well within the freshwater zone inhabited by bull sharks. The sharks ended up in the pond, which was the remnant of a sand mining operation at some point between 1991 and 1996. During that period, 3 floods breached the river's banks and swept inland, bringing the sharks with them. When the floodwaters receded, the sharks were stranded. They were first detected in 1996, while the pond, which is around 700 meters long and 380 meters deep, is relatively small and shallow. No formal population count was ever established. The sharks were, however, frequently visible, often coming near the shore. Their presence was welcomed by the golf course manager, and the species became a mascot for the establishment. The sharks were likely juveniles when they found themselves stranded, but eventually grew up to 3 meters long, that's 9.8 feet, according to observational reports. Their feeding habits were not scrutinized, but it's likely that the species they were also introduced to the pond during flooding events, such as flathead gray mullet, Mugelcephalus, Indo-Pacific tarpon, Megalops cyprinoides, mangrove red snapper, Legunas argentimaculatus, and yellow-finned bream. Arcanthopargus australis provided ample sustenance. If sharks can get the food they need, being in these low salinity environments can be beneficial because there are fewer predators. Michael Heighthouse, a shark biologist at Florida International University, who was not involved with the study, told HiveScience. Pups in some nurseries may go years in virtually fresh water, so it isn't too surprising they'd survive as long as there was plenty of food. The sharks were last seen in 2015. Another flood in 2013 may have allowed some of the sharks to escape back into the adjacent river, though the paper's authors think others may have simply died and sank. One carcass was recovered by golf course staff while the sharks were still active in the pond. While the pond appears to be devoid of sharks now, this strange episode illustrates the adaptability of these primeval predators and their tolerance of freshwater environments. The team said the case of the Gulf Pond sharks is the longest known example of bull sharks continuously inhabiting a low salinity environment. All right, so that was written up by Richard Pilardi. Richard Pilardi is a freelance science writer based in Chicago. talking sharks, talking bull sharks with us. So that was pretty cool. That was our little slice of strange science for today. Thank you for sticking with me. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. Now for my Live from the Hive audience, thank you again for sticking around as long as you have. I do want to go over one little piece with you, which is some eco news. So thank you again for hanging out, and we're gonna pop into that and right here. All right, thank you so much for joining me this evening for a little slice of eco news. And our rapidly warming planet is again the topic of the hour. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. Flowers are thriving in Antarctica, suggesting it might be reaching a tipping point. Antarctica's 2 native flowering plants are booming amongst summer heat waves and rising temperatures. There's the flowering plants. Recent years have seen newly budding flowers spring up across parts of Antarctica, much to the concern of some scientists. The increased spread of plant life in the southern pole appears to be consequence of human-driven climate change and may even indicate that the ice cap continent is reaching its tipping point. Due to its harsh conditions, Antarctica has just 2 native vascular plants. The Antarctic hairgrass, which is Deschampesia antarctica, and the Antarctic pearlwort, which is Clobanthus quitensis. Last year, scientists at the University of Isernia in Italy published a study in which they surveyed the 2 plants between 2009 and 2019 on Cygne Island, a small subantarctic island in the southern Orkney Islands of Antarctica that's an important nesting site for a variety of seabirds. They then compared these observations with surveys carried out in the previous 50 years. They discovered that the 2 plants' population had exploded within the most recent 10 years. In fact, the density of the plants had grown so much in the past decades alone that it alone as it had in the previous 50. Furthermore, this rate of growth is closely linked to warming air temperatures and warming trends that kicked off in Antarctica during the summer of 2012. Excuse me, got to clear my throat. While the climate change appears to be a major factor, the researchers also point out that the island has seen a dramatic drop in the number of fur seals, which trample the plants and impact their growth. As temperatures continue to climb, we can expect this trend to persist. In March of 2022, East Antarctica experienced the largest ever recorded heat wave. Recent research suggests that this unprecedented heat wave was made 7.2 degrees Fahrenheit or 2 degrees Celsius warmer due to climate change. It was so hot that researchers on site were wearing shorts, and some even removed their shirts to sunbathe, according to the Washington Post. However, this is no cause for celebration or relaxation. By the end of this century, heat waves in Antarctica could be lifted by a further 5 to 6 degrees Celsius or 9 to 10.8 degrees Fahrenheit as a result of the climate crisis bringing devastating change to the continent. As the boom of plant life on Cygne Island shows, Antarctica is rapidly changing as a result of human activity, and it could soon reach a crucial tipping point. The most novel feature of this is not the idea that something is growing faster. It's that we think we're starting to see that it's almost like a step changing or a tipping point. Peter Convey is one of the authors of the plant study from the British Arctic Survey told New Scientist in 2022. All right, so more trouble in Antarctica, more trouble from climate change. I guess I'm just going to keep beating this drum. At least somebody's going to listen, right? Somebody's got to listen to what I have to say here. Somebody needs to pay attention to what's going on in the world and do something about it. Somebody with a little more power than me. Maybe someday soon. Anyway, please be kind and take care. We'll see you next time.